That $800 billion that's CARES Act 1 money that's currently sitting at SBA, what's going on with that? Why is that not being repurposed as a $5,000 stimulus check? That's what viewers are asking today and been asking all weekend long. I'll be answering that question. Meantime, I'll be also answering questions about what Mitch is trying to do, per this new report, as to trying to slide stimulus into the continuing resolution bill, that CR that has a deadline of December 11th. What type of stimulus are we talking about? And is a stimulus that we would be likely to like? And then what's going to happen with the Democrats? Meantime, will the president still do executive orders? He still has some more weeks to do it. And will he do it during the holiday season? And what's going on with Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows? They said that there's a new bill coming. So is it going to come on Monday? All those incredible details, a lot of breaking details over the weekend. I'm so glad you joined me on this afternoon's edition of Being a Mitch. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Being a Mitch, the recording in which I go over what Congress is doing for your second stimulus. And there's a lot of stuff they're doing over the weekend. And I'll be sorting through all that in this recording. Meantime, despite what they're doing to do, or going to do, or planning to do, I'm getting money right now for you viewers. I'm not waiting 5 days for you to get money, or 5 weeks, or 5 months. I'm not talking about something I will be doing, or might be doing like Congress. I'm actually getting you money. So if you've not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. Please go to the first channel, subscribe. Hit the alert button so you do not miss a new video when a video goes live. When a video goes live, I'm announcing new grants when I find them. And there's always something that either I find or the viewers of this channel find, whether it's something in New Mexico or something in New York going live with rent grants, or going live in San Diego with rent grants, or new utility grants being announced, or New Mexico announcing grants. There's always something big and bold and needed to be known by you. And I'm trying to get this information to you and get this money in your pocket as soon as possible. And no less than probably over $350,000 has been given to viewers by this channel by getting them CARES Act 1 grants. And in this video, I'll be touching on a little bit on that as well. Meantime, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here today is that there's so much unfolding for Congress that it's sort of hard to keep track of the situation. Now, you may understand what I have always said, which is, where's the bill? Where's the bill? I hear you're doing these things. Why don't we see a bill for it? I don't want you to worry too much about the seeing a bill or not seeing a bill, because Congress can write a bill and it can be literally a page long. If you've been with this channel for a few weeks, you'll remember back to the summer where Carolyn Maloney wrote a bill for the post office, and that bill was 1 page long, and it was done in about an hour, and it was voted upon the next day. So I don't want you to be too worried about how long a bill will be. But with that, the continuing resolution bill may also be very short. There's a new article this weekend that says that Mitch McConnell is going to put stimulus into a continuing resolution bill and send that through the Senate and head it over to the House and say, here you go, my way or the highway. What is all this about? And let me explain to you what a continuing resolution bill is, what it has to be done, what's the purpose of this, and why this is so interesting and perhaps very promising for your second stimulus. Continuing resolution is a bill that is done every few months to align and pass the budgeting to run the federal government. It also stands for CR, continuing resolution. It generally is just talking about funding of the federal government, and it's usually very, very, very basic, very boilerplate. It's like they've done the same thing, just do it again. Okay, we did it again, we'll just do it again. But now and then, when something else is happening around the world, they put that something else in there because it's important. And that was the reason why sirloin exists, because for some reason, Farmers and cows were really important last time they did this. I don't know why, and only Sir Lloyd knows the answer. Cows got stimulus the last time there was a CR. I'm not joking. That's why Sir Lloyd is so beloved, because he literally is no joke. He's the real cow. So they got stimulus, and we did not get stimulus. So this time around, it's our turn to get stimulus, not the cows. The question is, what would be in the CR? And no, the C of the CR does not stand for cows or casino. The new report claims it would be stimulus checks, FPUC, UI, PUA, PPP, mortgage, rent, student debt. So let me go over why I think this is going to happen. This is my opinion. There are too many deadlines that are just a few weeks away. And those deadlines include the things I just held up my hands for. All those things are deadlines. And ironically, the things that are deadlines are the emergency things that you need to get done right now. Nancy Pelosi doesn't like to hear about things that have deadlines because ultimately she thinks her things are more important. Yeah, there's a deadline. Well, I'll take care of you. Remember what she did to the airlines? They had a deadline, or what was it, August 28th or something? I'll take care of you. Don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry. And then when the deadline passed, she's like, deadline? I'll take care of you next week. Don't worry. I'll get you back. She never took care of them. Never took care of them. Never. I will remind you, Nancy, you never took care of the airlines. You let them burn in hell is what you did to those poor airlines. And the cows, they got their money even before the airlines. Moo on that. So what's going on this time? Well, stimulus checks. How much? Article doesn't say. Article does not say. Multiple stimulus checks? I don't think so. No. How big? I think it's going to be measly. I don't think it's going to be something beautiful. I don't think it's going to be $5,000. I don't think it's going to be the repurposing the CARES Act 1 money, that $800 billion that would get you a $5,000 stimulus check. I don't know why they can't get this done. Viewers ask me this question all the time. Why don't they do this? I don't know. The only thing I do know is that the Republicans agree with you and I to repurpose the stimulus, the CARES Act 1 money. They agree with you because they're actually hearing these videos and then writing the Democrats saying repurpose stimulus. No less than, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Steve Mnuchin, after I said repurpose CARES Act 1 money with this hand gesture over here for a month, wrote the Democrats and said, let's repurpose some CARES Act 1 money and send some stimulus checks out. They said, no, thank you. We're not doing standalone piecemeal bill. And so he said, okay, fine. And that money from the Federal Reserve that came in, remember that big thing of Federal Reserve Main Street lending program, locked it up, gone. So couldn't repurpose that. This is not going to sit around forever. The opportunity to repurpose this is going to be gone very soon. And so is EIDL, so is that state and local CARES Act 1 grants that I'm getting viewers this month. All this money is being gone very soon. It's going to be ordered back to Congress, and then it's going to be put in a lock and key, and that'll be it. It will never be repurposed. So why don't they repurpose this? I don't know. How about the stimulus check? How big would it be? It's just, boy, $2,000? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a darn $1,200 stimulus check again. Now, ultimately, you need to push. You need to be on social media and say, hey, if you're doing a CR and you put the stimulus check in there and make it a repurposing the CARES Act 1 money, a $5,000 stimulus check. Make the message very clear. Go on social media and take this video and tag McConnell and his communications director and says, when you're doing the CR, put a stimulus check in the CR by repurposing CARES Act 1 money of $800 billion as a $5,000 stimulus check. Put it in the CR. We need that stimulus check. This is emergency. Why would you not want to do that? And here's the important thing to understand, and I don't want to do a mic drop, mic drop or whatever the sound effects would be. The narrative that Nancy Pelosi says, I don't want to do anything piecemeal. You did piecemeal, Nancy. Don't play that game with me. You did piecemeal. The last CR you did piecemeal and put money in there for the farmers. So why did you do piecemeal for the farmers but no stimulus piecemeal checks for us? It doesn't work. The narrative, her fake narrative doesn't work. So the next thing that would be in that CR that Mitch McConnell wants is, so it claims that we're bored, FPUC, UI, and PUA. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely. Why? PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and FPEUC, Federal Pandemic Unemployment UC, I always forget what the UC stands for, which is UI, expire in just a few weeks in December. In some states, they have expired. In Kentucky, one viewer said it had expired. I don't know if that's true. What this means is you generally have your normal weeks of unemployment assistance from your state. Let's say it's 10 weeks. And then the federal government gave you additional weeks called FPUC under CARES Act 1. That's going away in just a few weeks. So now all these people who have been unemployed on UI since February are going to be left with no weekly benefits. And in some states, they already are on no weekly benefits. PUA, which is for independent contractors, Grubhub, Airbnb, those type of people, their PUA is expiring in December as well. Gone. So suddenly, as the pandemic rages, and there's what, I don't know, 250,000 new infection cases a day, which means 250,000 new unemployed people per day, there's going to be no unemployment assistance anywhere. Where are people supposed to get the money to pay their bills? That is an emergency. And so Mitch wants to extend that. Absolutely. So then he wants to put FPUC on top of that. Well, that's good. How much? The report says as low as $250 a week. Oh my God. When I say that to people, they're like, oh, you can't do anything for $250 a week. It's just, yeah, I got it. But the report does say up to $400 a week. Well, that's a little bit better. Some viewers say it is better. Is it $600 a week? No. Is it retroactive? Yes. Oh, good. Say viewers. And then they're like, to what date? September. And so everyone starts to do the math really quickly in their head. September, how many weeks has it been September? September, October, November, December. That's 4 months, 16 weeks. 16 weeks times what? $300 a week. So it's like 20. That's $6,000. Okay, I like this. Yes, I can do $6,000. Yes, thank you. So people are just sort of rushing to figure out how much money this would be and how quickly we would get it. So if you look at this FPUC retroactively, it could be about $5,000-$6,000 of FPUC retroactively. Then a stimulus check, $1,200. I can't imagine it'd be $1,200 again. But let's say it is, and that's $7,200 approximately. Well, that's $7,000 more than what we have now. And that ultimately, Nancy Pelosi is going to sit over there and say, no, my way or the highway. So no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to piecemeal and give you $7,000. I'd rather have you have nothing. I just don't see that happening. And I got to tell you why. This is why this is called McConnell being a Mitch. Mitch understands that Nancy Pelosi is not the chief negotiator for the Democrats anymore. At this point, she's not even the chief anything for the Democrats anymore. She's the Speaker of the House, but that does not mean she's the chief negotiator. By all accounts, the last negotiations between these people, if it really was negotiations about a week ago, she was one of several people for the Democrats. And that several people is going to suddenly become much bigger. It's going to be Joe Biden. It's not going to be Nancy Pelosi. But ultimately, for optics, it can't be Joe Biden in a room, literally physically in a room now, but he can certainly be being debriefed as to what's going on. And it can't be Janet Yellen physically in a room, but she can be debriefed. What do I think? Janet Yellen's going to say, what the hell are you doing? You need to get this stimulus check out right now, and you need FPUC, and you need UI. You can't do this. You can't have people on unemployment. If there's one word that you have heard more about from the Federal Reserve under Jerome Powell in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, when he does briefings, is unemployment. And the second one is stimulus checks. He says, I think you need stimulus checks, and you absolutely need unemployment, because unemployment means it allows people to pay their bills. Without the money to pay their bills, then they can't pay their rent, and that just causes economic domino effects of problems. Janet Yellen is the former head of the Federal Reserve. So do I think this is going to happen? I think so. Do I think you're going to get stimulus checks during the holiday seasons and this money, if they act rationally and diligently and logically? I think so, yes. Ultimately, there's a lot of things twisting and turning here, and it's just too hard to predict with these bunch of people. Viewers understand that Mitch McConnell's first statement when he was reelected for Kentucky as its senator was, my first item of business after being reelected is I'm going to work on a stimulus bill and get it out right away. That was 2 weeks ago. was 2 weeks ago. He hasn't even written one word. Lindsey Graham last week, or was it Friday? No, it was Friday. He said, the first thing we should be doing in the Senate is getting a stimulus bill out right now. Lindsey, it's been a month since the election almost. What have you been doing? Well, this is the first item of business. First item of business? I mean, first item of business was 2 weeks ago. Why does it take... These people are so slow. And ultimately, that is what causes viewers a lot of problems in understanding the situation, and I have no explanation for it. Why are Congress people so slow? It's not slow because they're writing something. They're not even writing anything. So with that, it's important to understand that you subscribe, because I'm getting viewers money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 months from now, not 5 years from now, because this is money you're owed right now. I don't want you to wait around to figure out whether Mitch puts $1,200 or $2,000 in CR, whether he does retroactively to September, July for FPUC and a CR. I don't want you to sit around and say, did you hear anything about the CR? Watch and find out if you hear anything about the CR. You shouldn't have to be on bated breath about this. You should be getting money on the come, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 from this channel money right now, so that ultimately you don't have to focus so much on the CR. I can do that focusing for you. Coming up next is evenings at LALATE at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, then followed by evenings by Purple Power live at 6:30. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in LA for more.